I want to bring in our panel of experts and body language analyst Susan Constantine. All right, Susan Constantine, this witness who was the founder, the owner, he sold it recently, but of the Hicksville Trailer Palace, he wasn't supposed to be in this trial, but somebody told him your trailer palace is a part of the case. And so he saw on social media, and he actually wrote after that saying, that's not at all what happened, because we had the testimony from Amber Heard's witnesses. What did you think of his body language?
I felt he was very authentic. He had no skin in the game. He was very relaxed, leaning forward, very conversational. And the other thing is he walks in like a hippie off the street. You know, he's in his regular clothes. He's not there to impress anybody. And I think that really stands true with what he was saying. I could care less who was there. I'm not a name dropper, and I don't really know half the people you're talking about. So I love the fact that he was really easy to connect with, and the leaning forward, and he made great eye contact. And I think he came across really well, and people liked him, and believable.
And Amber Heard's attorney started the cross basically by saying, so you are a big fan of Johnny Depp's. And he said, no, I'm not. All right, I want to bring in for analysis Susan Constantine. She is a body language expert. Susan, we saw both of them right there. First of all, what do you make of Heard's reaction?
Well, my first reaction is her expression of surprise. You know, she had that kind of smugly, muggly look, and she kind of like looked up and held her eyebrows up like, really? Are you kidding me? And then she goes into this eye rolling. That's contempt. She smacks her lips a little bit. All of that falls into that contempt category. Of course, she was ticked off about it. She didn't agree with it. She was uncomfortable with that comment. She, you know, you see her mouth opening up and kind of smacking it back down. That's when you're feeling like anxiety. She's feeling a little bit angry. She puts her hand over here, like you can see her like staring at him, like you're joking, right? Like, you think that I did this all on my, you did this for me. And then you see her looking down, and you can see her internal processing. And there's a moment where you can see sadness kind of leak out. So overall, she was surprised by him saying that. She held her eyebrows up and almost intimidation. And then she showed contempt and disdain by licking her lips. And then she actually thought about it. And she says, I wonder if he really thought that way about me. So you can see all these kind of things kind of interplay in this one moment.
You know, before we move on, I just want to ask you about Depp. He straightens his tie. He seems a little, I don't know if it's embarrassed to say that he knows all these big people. I mean, what do you take of his testimony?
Well, when shaking your tie like this is like, I'm getting ready to tell you something important. I just need to these are self-grooming gestures. And it's something that when you're doing that is you feel a little bit uncomfortable. Like, I don't see him being a big, huge name dropper. Yeah. He's more internal.
Exactly.
You know, he's not one. Yeah, he doesn't sit there and he's not a bragger by all means. So anyway, it makes him feel uncomfortable. That's why you see him shaking his tie.
And you know, their marital psychologist said that when you got him alone, that he was actually very articulate, but in a group and lots, you know, people talking, he wouldn't talk. He would sort of be introverted. All right, moving on. Depp seemed to get a little testy with one of Heard's attorneys. I want you to watch this too, as text messages supposedly written by him were read in court.
You've said before that if you want to be with a woman sexually, that she is rightfully yours, haven't you?
Could you repeat that?
And you've also said that with
Could you repeat that, please?
Yeah, that if you want to be with a woman sexually, that she is rightfully yours.
That's ludicrous.
You've also said that with respect to women that you want to be with, you've remarked, I need, I want, I take, haven't you?
Equally as ludicrous, no.
Susan, what do you think? You know, a lot of his answers were like that, just to the point, and he answers the question or responds.
Yeah, I mean, he thought that this was ludicrous. He couldn't believe it. You see him taking his glasses off. He's like, wait a minute. I can't believe what you're about to say. And it took him for a couple of seconds to kind of let it just kind of set in, like, are you really asking me that question? You could see his eyebrows pinch. You could see his eyebrows furrow or forehead furrow. He was pretty ticked off about it. One of the things that I like about Johnny Depp is he calls it out. He says, he'll say that I did not do these sexual things to my wife. He calls it out. People that are liars, they say, I never did those things, or I would never hurt somebody. But when he speaks it right, I love his authenticity. I love his truthfulness. And I think that goes, and that speaks volumes. And I think it's going to go a long way with the jury. But he certainly didn't like him. And I think that that was appropriate for him to question that attorney by asking those questions. And he was astounded. And he showed it, and I'm glad he did, because it was basically telling him, like, you've got a lot of nerve asking me that question.
Psychiatrist, this is a popular witness. Everybody's talking about him, Dr. David Siegel. He got a lot of reaction on social media for his facial expressions. Let's watch an exchange where he was questioned over his use of Depp's films for an analysis of the actor.
You see him in that movie, Charlie and Chocolate Factory? Did you look at that one when you were comparing his processing speed?
Do I have to answer that question, Your Honor?
You have to answer questions. Yes, sir.
No, you'll be happy to know I didn't see Willy Wonka I didn't see 21 Jump Street when it happened, or whatever it was about. No, I did not.
All right, Susan, I'll let you. Your thoughts.
I got to tell you, when I was seeing this, I almost fell out of my chair. I'm thinking this is a great illustration of somebody that their ego got ahead of them, and he was caught. And when he realized that he had gone too far, you could see that opening up of his eyebrows opened up, his mouth opened up in surprise. But then all this facial touching, let me tell you what's happening here. One is when you're kind of going off the grid and you know it and you're aware of it, there's this physiological response that causes all this irritation and tingling stuff around your capillaries in your face. And that's where your facial touching and your itching and the nose brushing, all of that are all deceptive indicators. But then when his tongue is rolling around in his mouth, that is a strong sense of disagreement, but also, too, that he's feeling a tremendous amount of stress because there's no coming back from where he came from. He's caught, and at the very end, you can see his body language change, and he knew at that point in time, it was almost like a surrendering position, like, oh my God, I can't believe what just happened. I got to tell you, it'd be hard for me to imagine that he's going to ever take the expert stand again in any other case, Jean.
All right, very quickly, I want you to see this. Heard's sister, Whitney Enriquez, took the stand last week, and I want you to take special attention to her eyes as she's asked about a former friend, Jennifer Howell, she took the stand this week to basically impeach her. Listen to this.
You know who Jennifer Howell is, right, Ms. Enriquez? I do. She's the founder of the Art of Elysium nonprofit. She is. You confided in Ms. Howell, right?
About some things, yes. She was my friend.
You called her your chosen sister.
All right, what do you think, Susan, very quickly on that?
Well, she's kind of agitated. When you're seeing her eyes kind of jogging around, you know, she's looking at visual memory. She's trying to recall what she's conversation. She looks down, but she's kind of thinking about, is that true or is it not true? So what she's doing is it's like replaying a tape back in her head, and she's trying to pull different events, times in those when they've gotten together and her relationship with this person, and you're seeing all those events play out in her eye movement cues.
And Jennifer Howell testified this week via deposition that she sent an email to Whitney saying, tell the truth, don't lie, to protect your sister. All right, Susan Constantine, your thoughts today. Who wins, who loses?
I thought that Depp did a great job today, but here again, you know, we saw a lot of bombs being dropped on him, and he was having a difficult time, you know, managing all of that. But all in all, I think the Depp side did much better. I loved the testimony of everyone today. Clear, concise, professional, super professional, not emotional, speaking facts, truth, and I think that really weighed heavily. And I'm sure that they all wanted to go out and have a nice holiday this weekend. So I'm sure they're excited about wrapping this up.
Yeah, well, the jury's got to deliberate too. Thank you to all of our guests, and we do hope that this case will highlight what the important issues are, the domestic abuse crisis in this country.